Hello, and welcome to the Middlesex Chamber today. This is John GUERIN saying welcome to our program where we talk about the Middlesex County Chamber of Commerce, its many activities, and the people who help make it all happen. Today what we're going to be focusing on is technology. I know 7 of you just fell asleep, but I think you find this to be very interesting. We have as our guest the chair of the Technology Committee, and that is Mark Gallagher. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you. Welcome.
Good to have you here. And we also have with us the Director of Marketing and Public Relations for the Middlesex County Chamber of Commerce, Mike FALLON.
Good to be here. Thanks, John.
Good to have both of you. And again, we're going to be talking about primarily the Tech Committee here today and some of the things that are going on. But before we get into that, for anybody who might be just watching the program for the first time, we'd like to give them an idea of who you are. So I'll have you do a little self-introduction about what you do in real life besides the Chamber.
Sure.
Mike, it is the Chamber, but we'll get to that. So, Mark, why don't we start with you?
Right. So my name is Mark Gallagher. I'm the owner, and I do of PowerPC. I do small business IT support. I support clients from 1 to 50 in all of their IT needs. Been doing that for over 20 years.
Very good. And Mike, how about you at the Chamber of Commerce?
Sure. Well, in addition to being a staff liaison to the Technology Committee, I handle media releases, I help with social media, updates to their website, a wide variety of roles with my position at the Chamber. Very
good. All right. And Mark, now the Technology Committee, obviously your background in technology is very strong. How did the Chamber get involved with a committee for technology?
Well, it probably goes back before I got involved with the Chamber. It goes back to when the initial Wi-Fi was put in downtown Middletown. Probably about 15 years ago is my guess in that range. And the Technology Committee was instrumental in getting that whole program off the ground, working with Wesleyan in the town of Middletown. I came in on the tail end of that when it first became an inception and has been out there ever since. And that's really where our focus started. But then after that, the groundwork and that was instituted, we kind of moved into the technology for the website. For the Chamber. And we've gone through different iterations of the website. You know, there have been different people who've done it for us, and we're now at this particular point working with Chamber Master on the website. And Chamber Master is a company that all they do are Chamber websites. Oh. So they, you know, we pick them out of a group of different companies that we've looked at. And they had the best product for all of our needs. And our needs are many when it comes to the website. And it also, what also is impacted with the website is the database for the Chamber. Previously, the database was done locally, and all the changes were made locally at the Chamber. And then eventually they were uploaded to a Chamber website. Well, now we're live with that constantly in the cloud with the database, and that is a key tool in us being able to communicate with everybody in the Chamber, as Mike can well tell you.
Yeah, communication is certainly one of the hallmarks of technology, at least that's the concept. Now I know when we sit there and we talk about the database being in the cloud, there are a few people who just glazed over at that, Mark. You know, we take it for granted because of a lot of things that we're doing on a regular basis. But what does that mean to somebody who's out there with a small business and they're getting involved with the Chamber? What does it do for them?
Well, as far as the website or the cloud itself?
Well, a little of both.
Well, obviously the website is a great way to find out what's going on in the Chamber. You know, previously too, the Chamber was mailing out a lot of mail. Postage-wise, it was costing a lot of money, and as postage went up, communication costs were going up. So one of the things that the website was made to do was communicate better with our members. So our calendar is up there, though. That's one of the main things that people go to the website for, is that. As far as the cloud is concerned, well, we've been dealing with the cloud since a long time. People just don't realize it. Back in the AOL days, everybody remembers AOL. Right. That was a cloud application, really, because you went to the cloud to get your email, and you looked at your email, but nobody really thought about it that it was off-site. But that's really all the cloud means. It's off-site on some secure server somewhere in the world or in multiple locations.
Right. Well, I was going to say that's the idea of the cloud. It is a little cloudy in terms of where this all happens, and how it happens. It is physical servers that are out there somewhere in the world.
Multiple places usually.
Yes.
Right. So
because they back up.
So that there's safeguards against something happening in one section of the country or the world. As a matter of fact, Exchange Online, which I've got a lot of my clients on, they co-locate in the United States and the UK so that there's different servers in different parts of the world.
Sure.
Different time zones as well.
Yes, because the cloud never sleeps.
Correct.
Although we do try to occasionally. Mike, from your perspective, working with Technology Committee, but also in your job at the Chamber of Commerce, how have you seen, just in a short period of time, technology change and affect what you do day to day?
Sure. I mean, one of the things that is really nice about our chamber, kind of building off of what Mark said, is that members have the opportunity to post themselves to communicate with members. And that's through our member information center, which I'll talk a little bit more about. But essentially, members can put in whatever keywords and descriptions that they want to get out there about their business. They can put their address, their contact information, they can upload photos and contact information, and this all gets searched. And if they have their own website, that's great, but then also it's another tool for people to find out about your business based on your category, based on what you offer, so more people know about what you have to provide to people.
Very good.
So it's really a business-to-business tool that probably is underutilized, and that's probably one of the reasons we're here today, to let them know that there is a great business-to-business tool out there that they can use to find other members who either do something that they need, or to be strategic partners, or to give other people, I'm looking for somebody, where can I go? Go to the Chamber website and you can find a business that's, works through the Chamber and a Chamber member you probably can trust and rely upon.
Right. Now, as far as the committee itself is concerned, we should probably talk about the committee for a bit. We talked that there are more than 2 people on the committee. So how does the committee function at this point? What kind of things do you set as goals for yourself, or do you try to accomplish?
Well, we have meetings periodically. We're trying to do once a month. We have kind of a sliding amount of members that show up, but it's mostly people who are technology-driven, some marketing-driven people who come to the meetings. And, we're looking to better the website, number one. We're looking to offer more technology to our members, information to our members. And we're also charged with making sure that the Chamber, the people who work at the Chamber, have the technology they need in order to do their job.
Okay.
So it's kind of threefold. And the other thing is we're always looking for challenges. So we would, ask for the members of the Chamber to communicate with us what they need on the technology side, either in their business or from us through the website or from us from the Chamber itself.
And technology itself has really continued to advance at an incredible, I'd say a landslide, type of rate of speed. Things are just changing constantly with that. I mean, I started in technology back in the early 80s and have watched it advance through the late 90s into the 2000s, and it's just what kinds of things are brought to you? I mean, when people talk about their needs, do you introduce them to new ideas in technology that are out there at this point?
Well, we're trying to, since you mentioned that, we are just starting a new series of webinars. And they're available through the website. They're member only. Mike can tell you about a little bit how to get to those. But the basic idea behind them is to give you a little bit more information and maybe make it a little bit easier for you to understand some of the things. Like you mentioned, clouds, services. But there's a myriad of topics out there, and we love, again, to get feedback from our members to find out what they want. You know, one of the things that we look at is, you know, how can we better communicate what's going on at the Chamber to our members? And we have an app that's available on iOS and Android devices that we're going to talk a little bit about. But that's, you know, one of the things that we're looking at in order to improve communications and to also enhance their ability to work with the Chamber and see what's going on.
Okay, well, since everybody tends to work off their phones right now.
Correct.
There's so much more happening on phones than used to happen on tablets or the old technology of laptops or desktops. You know, really at this point, why don't we jump into that idea of this new app and get a little idea of how it was put together, what it's intended to do, and distributed to members and those who might be interested.
Right, so the app is just a mirror of what they can get on the website. Okay. Although basically, but it boils it down to the palm of their hand. Whereas the website is a little bit cumbersome, I would say the best word to use on a mobile device, because you just, you know, a mobile device is, you know, it's focused, it's got a small little screen. With the app, the focus has been drilled down so that it's much easier to use on the app, and I think Mike can talk a little bit about what some of the things you can do on the app that are accessible and make it easier for you to communicate and utilize the Chamber's resources.
You got the ball, Mike.
Sure. So, you know, one of the great things about the app is it allows our members to access everything that we have to offer at the Chamber to go. And members can access each other. So there's the business directory in there that you can get off our website, but also they can post member-to-member deals. For instance, I was on it today and I saw a website development special that a member had posted. I saw a massage for Valentine's Day special. So it's a way of communicating with other Chamber members for free as part of their membership, and also a way to engage with the Chamber. You can register for events. You can pay your bills. You can do a variety of things to interact with other members, post photos. So it's a good way to contain all this all in one space. Okay.
And again, as easy as your pocket or purse or wherever you happen to carry your phone. So.
Right, and it's also available on tablet devices too, so if you want a little bigger platform. And you know, one of the things again that is so used on the website is the calendar, and having that in the palm of your hand. And the app is called
oh, it's called Member Plus. You can find it by going to our website. There's a tab right there that says Member Plus app, and there's links there where they could download it for the Google Play Store or Android or iOS for Apple products, and they can just download it right there. But you could search, if you're not on our website, for Member Plus, and you'll find the app that way. So
okay, all right, very good. Again, so many things changing ever so quickly, because no matter where you go, somebody will talk about their app that is now available. All the television stations, you know, sources of news, weather, you know, whatever you happen to be looking for. So in this case, member services. Okay, Mark, what feedback do you get from people who come to a technology committee saying, you know, great needs at the present time?
Well, to be honest with you, when the technology committee meets, most of the time the tech people are coming in and we're trying to look for things to give. So again, that feedback that we may get from our members is crucial in determining what we decide to do. We kind of know where the direction of things are going in, and there's so many things that, you know, meetings we'll start on one direction and end up in another. You know, we'll talk about social networking and, you know, what's the best way to promote your business? Is it LinkedIn? Is it Facebook? Is it, you know, is Twitter the way to, you know? So these are some of the topics that we talk talk about. And, we're also trying to educate our members about things that they can do. So something that we may be discussing in a webinar down the road is something called site optimization for your website, SEO. So, these are kind of things that we're bringing to the membership, but we'd again love to find out what they want.
Sure, sure. Yeah, because I was going to say, in terms of the chamber is made up of so many different types. I mean, people think of chamber, they think of business, big business usually. But I know the Middlesex County Chamber, especially with over 2,000 members, many of them sole proprietors, or they may not work in business at all. It could be a government agency. It could be a not-for-profit that's out there. There's got to be a wide variety of things that they are looking for and trying to reach out to, quote, their customers, their clientele, or the constituents that they serve.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. So, and like I said, we're here to help them in any way that we can on the technology side. We're always looking forward to what we can do for that. And technology is a broad category, too.
Yes.
So, it could just mean, having a TV monitor in the chamber with the calendar events on. I mean, that's technology. That's something that's, it's not a piece of paper.
Well, talking about paper, we were talking before the program with our producer and talking about things like carbon paper.
Right.
There are many things that we used to do that have really become almost obsolete.
Correct.
So are there areas of technology that you are finding have changed to the point that they've almost become obsolete?
Well,
I know that's a tough one.
What technology do you want to get rid of right now, Mark?
Well, Windows XP computers, I guess.
There are still a number around. Yes.
Yeah. One of the things, the challenges today in technology is that there are so many generations of technology out there.
Yes.
And in order to accommodate all of that, sometimes you have to go to the least common denominator in order to do that. So an application has to work on so many different platforms. And that's kind of the tough thing. At a certain point, you just have to say, if you're on Windows 2000 or XP, you got to pull that out of the mix.
Right.
Because even Office, they're not supporting Office past 2007, I believe, now. So, you need to get on the latest things. And that's one of the challenges, I think, even in my business, to try to get my clients up to date on all of the applications, so that they have the best tools. Yeah, you can use Office 97, but is it going to do the best job on your email? And since email has become the de facto communication piece for every person in the world, you need to have the most up-to-date email client.
Sure. Well, of course, that brings up an interesting point. When we talk about email, there are many at this point who almost consider that an obsolete technology because they work through social media.
Correct.
They work through the Twitter, Facebook. I won't even begin to go down the myriad of different sites that are available out there. But does that sort of thing come up in meetings in terms of what the challenges that
absolutely means? But the other thing you got to take into consideration is that there's also age things that happen here. And somebody who's in an upper bracket of the age limit is going to use email, and they're going to not want to know what tweeting is all about. And yet you're going to have young professionals who are going to want that. So we kind of have to appeal across the board to all of those aspects of it. And kind of right now, pretty much email is our mainstay. We do have tweets, right?
Right.
You can join in, and maybe Mike can talk a little bit about how to get involved with, what's being tweeted by the chamber.
Sure. We have an Instagram, a Pinterest account, a Twitter, and a Facebook account. And you can find us by just searching Middlesex Chamber. The exact handle is MDSX Chamber. It's a little bit abbreviated. But it's a great way to communicate with folks that might not be business people, but we were targeting folks beyond that. So for our events that target the greater community, whether it be Motorcycle Mania or Car Cruise or Taste of Middlesex, that has been a very successful tool at reaching folks who will be connected to our members because our members are involved with those events.
Sure.
But they need to know that information, and the people are much more willing to pass on and share an event with someone than they would be to forward an email. There are certainly people who read our emails. We know they do. We track that, but it's a great way to extend our reach beyond where we are.
Very good. And again, the challenges, I think when you talk technology at this point, you really have to talk, it's an area of challenge. It certainly keeps your business very interesting, I'm sure, Mark.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. It's ever changing. I mean, there's never a dull moment, so to speak.
Yeah, because again, with the changes that come through, but again, serving many different people at many different levels of comfort.
Right.
There are still a lot of folks in an older, mature age bracket who get occasionally challenged by all of the different technology that's out there. And you mentioned an interesting point, the idea of having to come to a lower common denominator in some cases in terms of trying to accommodate all the different types of hardware that people might be working with. Are you seeing more people trying to, quote, keep up the way they used to? I know it used to be a little simpler when a new generation of computer would come out. You've got a pretty strong, number of things that go. But today, with cell phones on every corner, of almost every variety, occasionally exploding, how has that impacted?
That's where I kind of leave the pack. I mean, I don't know. I know a lot of our technology committee people don't really deal with the mobile device unless it's, a corporate issued device. And then you can kind of say, okay, this is the corral that we're going to stay within, and this is it. And you can't be adding all these, they're locked.
Sure.
So, in that aspect, what I do see is that there's certain people who are just never going to change. They're used to their Windows 7 PC. They're never going to go to Windows 10. They had all the bad stuff on Windows 8, and that's not the direction they're going to go in. But and then there's other people who will try it out of the box before it's even cooked.
Sure.
When it's in raw beta.
Yeah.
So those are some of the challenges that you have too. And one of the things I want to bring up here is that we started out something this month called Tech Tips.
Okay.
And on the website you can go to the resource area in the member center, and we have our first initial tech tip up there.
Okay.
And it's something that the tech committee is going to be putting out every month or two, and we're going to have a different tech tip. And this month is on surge protectors.
Oh, good.
And it's a short little blurb, and you can get it, like I said, right off of the website.
Very nice. So that's open to everyone. Now, I know you mentioned earlier the webinars, and that's something
No, this is open to members only. They need to log in order to get to that resource.
Okay.
And what we're going to do with webinars is hopefully expand, this is the beginning of the webinars, hopefully expand that out further. And we want to put more content, usable content on the website for our members.
Sure, sure. And again, the idea of there's so many different sites that are out there. This is something that will be targeted directly to members of the Middlesex County Chamber.
Yeah, and one of the problems I think we face at the Chamber is we're so big and we have so many events all the time. I wish I could go to more, but I can't. So I would love to be able to see what happened at those events. So this is maybe one of the things that we're working on down the road, to maybe have a snippet of that event, or like a legislative breakfast that we had have that available to the membership, because it's very important what legislators have to say.
Sure, sure. Well, it's interesting even with our program at this point, because again, if someone's watching this program, they've probably seen the breakfast program that's adjacent to it. So they would have seen one of the recent breakfasts. And I say recent because as we tape this one, there could be an overlap of the different breakfasts. But those are definitely things that we've seen, that people have talked about, that they've seen a good deal of information, and they get an idea of what Middlesex County Chamber does when they take a look at that. And now that that's available on YouTube, it's amazing really what's there. Well, believe it or not, we're down to about the last 3 minutes of the program as we're sitting here right now, and I just want to make sure we haven't missed any key points that you'd really like to make to the audience. So, Mike, why don't I turn to you, see if there's anything you'd like to emphasize or talk about.
I just want to reiterate 3 points. One, you can download the Members Plus app. And you can use Member Zone on your desktop to communicate with other chamber members. You can watch Mark's first tech tip. Great information on surge protectors, knowing what to plug in there, what to not. If you're actually using a surge protector, people are making all kinds of mistakes. So a great quick video to check out to really learn a lot more. And if you're interested in becoming a member of the technology committee, feel free to contact me. It's michael@middlesexchamber.com. We have information on our website, but we'd love to have you be involved.
Very good. Very good.
I would echo everything he just said there. And I would also say that we're always looking for information from our membership on how we can better improve our technology, either through the website or communication to them through all the different medias.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent. Well, I do appreciate both of your having been here. And I think again, I don't think we can emphasize enough that the Middlesex County Chamber of Commerce is made up of volunteers. The staff, the core staff folks that work with you on a daily basis, Mike, are very dedicated and do a wonderful job. But it's all those hundreds of volunteers who get involved in the various committees and divisions and councils and events. I mean, we do go on and on here on the program, but these are things that we really hope that people know, that the Middlesex County Chamber of Commerce is very involved. And it doesn't necessarily take a lot of time. It can take as much or as little time as you're able to put in, especially those of you who might be, a 1 or 2 person business out there. So hopefully they've gotten part of the message about what technology can do for them. So, Mark Gallagher, Chair of the Technology Committee. Thank you. And Mike Fallon, Director of Marketing and Public Relations for the Chamber of Commerce and the contact person for Technology Committee. We're very, very pleased that you were able to join us. And to you, our viewers, thank you for having spent some time with us. Hope the program was informative to you, and we will look forward to talking to you again in the very near future. Thank you.